A9.
Hello, hashtag first. Hello, hello, hashtag first TV family. And I'm working with this mic as is because there is no mic. There's no mic. Yes. Hashtag Coast Quake NYC has at pix11.com, pix11.com. Hashtag for future husband, of course. Per norm, it's always about my baby. And this hashtag for future husband is the card. Would you ever date outside of your race? Why? Or why not? And the underrated hype TV this week comes from underrated hype TV A9. This is Deborah Cox. Things just ain't the same. From the Money Talk soundtrack, 1997. Post from at junction_it. All right. And all of this will be on hashtag Verse TV this week. Hashtag Verse TV 257A9. And I was about to say, let's dig into the, but not quite. We have a slightly different setup this week. And the random question for our third time around is, do you have any pets? Yes. And the answer is yes. Not only do I have pets, but I also have chess. Let me stop. I do have a pet, and I spoke to the fact that she is my first cat. She's in here with me, and cats are different from dogs. I used to always say I was a dog person. I'm more of a dog person than a cat person. And my precious baby cat is so marvelous. I consider myself now a cat person as well. También. Dogs are still exceptional. And you can't train a cat to be a whatever they call those dogs, not guard dogs. But you can't train a cat for that because yes, at the end of the day, just like her hairs is floating around the room right now, she does what she wants to do when she wants to do it. But she is very affectionate and she's in the room with me right now. She's in her little box that I saved for her. But yes, she is marvelous. Uh, oh, and my song this week is coming from Ariana G, Ariana Grande, and off of her latest album called Eternal Sunshine, released this year, 2024. The song is called The Boy Is Mine. Off of her Eternal Sunshine, slightly deluxe edition. And what I particularly love about that song, The Boy Is Mine, is the retardando that they put in it for a second and then went right back to normal tempo when they boy and it was like I thought that just felt really good. And I remember looking at the credits because I was like, oh, I hope Ariana Grande herself had something to do with that musical work. And she did. She was one of the co producers on that song, as well as co writer, and she sang it. So she's got a Mariah Carey list going on right there. Very cool. The album itself is cool. There are a number of songs on it that I particularly like. There are, not realizing I have to give the excellent with the not so excellent. There are songs in it that I don't particularly like. I will say this as far as positivity, I fell in love with her song, Yes and, while listening to the album. Because hearing it on its own, I didn't love it. That was actually her lead single, I think. And I didn't love it. But now, with the context of the album, I love it. I love it. It's excellent. Yes. And I'm sorry, y'all. This is my third time recording this show. So I'm just going to be a little nasally. And I'm going to fight through it. On period. And yes, there are aspects of the album that listening to it, I'm like, yeah, this is an album by a younger woman. And that reminds me of a podcast that I used to listen to that a friend of mine was a part of. She did it with her best friend, and it was an exceptional podcast. Unfortunately, it went the way of the dinosaur, that they chose not to keep it up. I get that it can be hard. Trust me, I know firsthand. And on that show, I remember one time they were talking about a younger person back when I was in my early 30s and they were in their earlier 30s slash late 20s. And the woman was talking about Seven Streeters album, which I actually really enjoyed and still enjoy. But she was like, that album is just, not my friend, but her co-host was like, that album is just a bunch of millennial BS. And I'm like, ooh, ow, don't say that. And I get it though, looking back at it from my 40s, what she was talking about is the song topics. And the song topics are, as somebody who was 40, now listening to music, I do hear where it's coming from, and I can hear, oh, that song is very much written towards what somebody is dealing with at a younger than I am age. And there are parts of Ariana Grande's album that are like, oh, that's for the younger people. Nevertheless, there are songs that I love that are exceptional. Period. All right. Hashtag Verse TV family. We will take it to topic A. 9A. A9A. Like, share, subscribe, share again, and please do not forget to click like. Thank you very much. Hashtag CoastQuake.
hashtag Earth, pix11.com, hashtag VerseTV A9A. Pix11, local news, earthquake shakes NYC area, by Mira Wasef, posted April 5th, 2024 at 10:32 a.m. Eastern, updated April 6th, 2024 at 7:23 a.m. Eastern. New York Pix11. Buildings and homes shook Friday morning after a 4.8 magnitude earthquake hit the New York City area. The earthquake happened at 10:23 a.m. around 3.7 miles southeast of Clifton, New Jersey, roughly 60 miles west of New York City. According to the United States Geological Survey, several minor aftershocks were also recorded in the same area throughout the day, according to the USGS. Article continues below.
All right. So, I do have family and friends who are in the NYC area and NYC, New York, Philadelphia, Maryland, etc. So I am closely connected to that. And everybody's okay. Hallelujah. That's a blessing. Everything is awesome. Just like the Lego movie. And we'll get into why I sing that for this. Everything is awesome. Yes. I read it when I heard about this happening again. The first thing that came to my mind, which is what happened in 2011, Maryland had a similar quake. And I remember I was just distraught by that. And I was like, ooh, I bet what happened in New York is due to fracking. And I looked up some more information on fracking. We used to hear about fracking a lot in the news, but not so much anymore because, everything is awesome. Check out the Lego movie. Anyway, but yeah, not so much anymore. And I found a 2015 article from Berkeley, from Berkeley University, talking about fracking and how, yes, fracking can cause such tremors like what we felt or what was felt Friday and what I felt back in 2011. Now, what they say about that, though, is the fracking that we're doing can not today, at this point, cause the kind of destruction that can be seen in California, because those earth rumblings are from the plates underneath moving, and those cause significant adjustments to the earth. But fracking, they say, will not currently probably cause such great damage because it can only cause just a little bit of a rumbling. And reading that in the article, I was comforted. I put on my best, everything is awesome earphones, and I was like, okay, so there's nothing to worry about now. at least in my lifetime. And what they did go on to say is what can be problematic with the fracking is the pollution of the groundwater underneath not underneath the earth, but at the center or toward the center of the earth. I don't think we're digging all the way to the center yet, but toward the center of the earth, the groundwater can be polluted. And it's like everything is awesome. I hope that's not a problem. And maybe generations from now, after we've polluted all of the groundwater, we'll find out, oh, wait a minute. Polluting the groundwater, actually, the groundwater at the core of toward the core of the earth prevents the trees from being able to filter our air, which will remove oxygen from the atmosphere and everyone will die. But we'll be up here on another planet and making that money. So it's all good. Everything is awesome. Anyway, well. But yeah. I don't know if it was fracking that caused what happened along the coast, upper northeast of the coast. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. But if it was fracking, you can take whatever comfort you can take in knowing that fracking currently will not cause more of a rumble than what you feel with that. So I guess that's okay. And it can pollute the groundwater, but I guess right now that's okay. Cool. I remember in 2011, when I was living in Maryland, when we had the 5.8 magnitude quake, and I immediately, I didn't have any, and still don't have any proof either way about it being fracking, but fracking was in the news so much, I was like, well, I bet that earthquake was caused because of the fracking, because what I learned in school, in private school at that point, was that the entire United States is on one plate, and then California is slightly on a different plate. And that's why California gets earthquakes. But the rest of us don't, because we're on that same one plate. But when we had that 5.8 magnitude earthquake in 2011, I was like, oh my gosh, that just threw everything that I had learned out of the window. And I was concerned. I think I might have even almost cried. Anyway. That was a concern. Oh, I wish I did the microphone. I'm not going to cut. So the next topic, like, share, subscribe, share again, and please do not forget to click like. Thank you.
Hashtag for future husband, heart, hashtag enter at tonight's conversation, hashtag first DVA9B. Would you ever date outside of your race? Why? Or why not?
Yes. And yes, I have. Going forward, I have a husband. As I said in the previous one or two recordings of this, I had this whole segment is dedicated to my future husband. So I am not on the market anymore. So going forward, would I? It's irrelevant because I'm not on the market anymore. Have I in my past? Yes, I have. And especially my time living in DC, I've dated. DC is a very diverse place. So I have dated around, right? And I will say this, my boyfriend currently, husband futurely, is Black. We're both Black, right? We have discussed the fact that our relationship is interethnic. It's not interracial, but it is interethnic. And honestly, I think that differences in upbringing and differences in lifestyle are more of a difference than racial differences should be. Because there are people in the world who don't treat race like the social construct that it is. They treat it like it's a real thing. Okay. And you have to keep that in mind. There are people out there who do treat race like a real thing and will treat you accordingly. Yes, that's an unfortunate fact. But I do think that more of the differences come along how people were brought up. And my love and I, there are some differences, cultural differences between us. And as we are learning each other, we make some mistakes and we work with each other to improve from those mistakes, to learn more about. Yes, I can be sensitive. I think that's a me thing, but there are a number of times that he's made such mistakes and it kind of hurt me. And I'm like, oh, why would you say that? Cultural mistakes. And he's like, okay, baby, I understand. I'm that's a mistake. I will not do it again. And he doesn't. He doesn't make the same mistake twice. He made the same mistake twice. You know, oh my gosh, okay. Okay. I think I have enough time. Really quick side pieces. I love that song by Keisha Cole. Then on a lonely night. Um, I forgot. It's just that bad. But she sings, "You make the same mistake twice. Then on a lonely night." I don't know. I think it was from her album "Calling All Hearts." I love that song. Anyway, but yeah, he's never made the same mistake twice, and I do my best to not make the same mistake twice with him, not even on the lonely nights. Oh, I just realized what that song was talking about because are you talking about cheating, Keisha Cole, ma'am? Because I was in my early 30s when she did that song. and she's a little bit older than me, so it was appropriate for me and my age range. But is she talking about cheating? Because can't make the same mistake twice, but on a lonely night. Anyway, oh, I'm gonna look that up later. I used to say that it's best for love when we only base love on finding love. Like Mariah Carey sang Diva on an album that I love by her is Glitter, Lead the Way. She sang, Let love lead the way, belting Diva, right? I'm all stuffy right now. But I used to say that's the best kind, and exclusively so when we let love lead the way. And I used to say any other kind of love, like letting society lead the way or letting social position lead the way, is bad. And what brought me to social position, something else might have brought me here, but what brought me in my notes was the fact that I remember coming up, particularly in my 20s, a lot of my friends friends and acquaintances would often say to me things like, Aaron, you should not be with a black man. You should date somebody else. You could do so much better than a black man. And listening to this, I'm like, I am a black man. What are you saying? But you know what I mean. No offense, but you can do so much better. And I remember what I realized is, yes, the vast majority of men that I dated have been black men. Yes, and my future husband, to whom this whole segment is dedicated, is black, like me, right? I do also acknowledge, though, and this goes back to, it comes down to how you were raised. Because my the vast majority of men that I've dated over the years, they have they conduct themselves similar to me, right? They talk like me, you know, and shouting out our friend Kevin. I remember when I met his family. His family is articulate and intelligent and well spoken, all just like he is as well. And I'm sure the people he's dated have been the same. I remember when this card came up, I was like, oh, yeah, I have had a number of friends over the years tell me mess like that. And I asked Kevin, I was like, were you one of those friends? And he was like, Aaron, I never told you anything like that. I was like, oh, okay. But I have had a number of friends say that. But he probably hasn't had to say that because, anyway, I get it. we don't have a caste system, right? People do tend to connect with others who communicate on a similar path as them. Ooh, I just thought about something, y'all. I'm just gonna share this just because the dude that I had a crush on, the first dude that I had a non-internet started crush on, like we were in the marching band at Howard together, and I had a crush on him. And I wrote on a little piece of paper, like, I like you. Do you like me? Wire in. You don't have to answer right now. And I gave it to him, and he never responded. And that's okay. And that's okay. And that's okay. And he later explained, yeah, I never responded because I was pledging and on social probation. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, I guess. But truth is, he was just letting me down nicely because he just wasn't that into me. And bring it back to what we're talking about. Uh, I wonder if part of his lack of interest in me, I'm getting so much chest today. I wonder if a big part of his lack of interest in me is perhaps because socioeconomic. Oh my gosh! And yes, he was also black like me. He was going to Howard. If socioeconomically, he, he his background. This is so interesting. I've never thought about this before, but socioeconomically, he was from a higher echelon background than I, and I was like, I wonder if that played a role. I don't know. But so I realized I can't judge people for basing their dating on social growth or social maintenance, whatever. It's something people do within, outside of race, whatever. It's just an aspect of how people date. Possibly. And let me say, while the majority of men that I've dated and my baby, my love, I just thought about something that I won't share on here, but because he is so exceptional, he's another one who's like, oh my gosh, like, could I compare? Anyway, but I think that dating, date who you love. At the end of the day, I think you should date who you love. And part of me was going to be like, yeah, but society and possibly your family might disown you for dating outside of your race. And I think about Mariah Carey's video for a song that I love from another album that I love by her, Charm Bracelet. Her song, Make It, oh my gosh, I have so much I can connect to. Through the Rain. I love that song. I am making through the rain. And in that song, It was about an interracial couple who was disowned by their family because they were in an interracial relationship. And I was going to say, beware of such possibilities. But I realize it's kind it's kind of like where I am with my love, my heart, my African king. Yes, he is. Yes, you are. And the fact that we're in a same gender loving relationship. There might be people who take issue with our connection, but F them, F y'all. Because worrying about what other people think and say about who you love, it's like, so what? So what? Because they're not the ones who are going to hold you. Do it, Aaron. Yes. They're not the ones who are going to hold you close at night when you feel badly for whatever reason. They're not going to be those ones. So, F them. And that's what I say. Wait. Don't F them. If you're a young person, or if you, I don't know, share this idea with a young person, let them know that, hey, don't say F them until you've got the money to say F them. Your allowance isn't enough to do that. So don't say F them until you can support yourself financially. They need to say F them. But if they don't love your love, F them. Wait. If you are a self-supporting adult and they don't love your love, F them. They don't pay your bills. Not nary one of them. So, would I date outside of my race? Not now, because I am committed to a man who is inside my race. Have I dated outside of my race before? I absolutely have. And I still remember my mom explaining that one of the men that she dated before she met my dad was indeed a man of another race. So don't let others run the risk of keeping you from your sincere love. Okay? And I say sincere, but honestly, even if there's an aspect of social climbing or social maintenance involved in your love search, as long as, in addition to that, they hold you close at night when you're in need. That's all that matters to my adults out there. That's all that matters. Oh, right. Like, share, subscribe, click like again. So, like, share, subscribe, share again. Do not forget to click like. Thank you. Big and special. Love is key, y'all. Love is key.
Hashtag underrated hype TVA9 Deborah Cox. Things just ain't the same. Circa 1997 at junction_int. Hashtag Verse TV A9C.
Ooh, I have loved that song since I was 14 years old. And that song is the from the year I turned 14. That was from the Money Talks soundtrack. And seeing that video on my feed reminded me of when I was a kid, 13, 14. When this video came out, I was 14. So I really had a crush on Deborah Cox. I remember thinking she was so beautiful. And it's like, well, how do you end up gay? And people have different courses in life, and that needs to be okay. Yes, I did have a crush, a major crush on both Deborah Cox and Brandy. Yes, they are absolutely beautiful. Were and are. Yes. I follow them both on social media. And yeah, you could say like I was a confused gay boy. Oh my gosh. Because I always thought Deborah Cox was so beautiful and diva. I realized, hey, this is the thing that I didn't realize was like, Aaron, I think you like men more, honey. Because I was very attracted to Deborah Cox. But I realized in that video, I was particularly attracted to her hair. I don't want to say attracted to her hair. I'll say most interested in her hair. Going back and looking at that video as a 40-year-old man preparing for the show, I noticed that, oh, wow, that video had a lot of, as my lesbian friend used to say, a lot of shots of her fun bags, a lot of cleavage, a lot of all of that. Yeah, my lesbian friend was like, I call them fun bags, talking about all of the cleavage that Deborah Cox showed in that video. And watching the full video on her, what is that called? I've linked it in the information. Whatever. Her video, like she was showing, that 24-year-old Deborah Cox was showing more cleavage than I've been showing with this robe. Anyway. And honestly, thinking back to that time, you saw the guy coming out of the pool. I was always like most interested in that shot because that was back in the day before YouTube, and you can just click pause on a video and be like, "Ooh, yes." I also would have done that on another music video where a dude showed his leg and foot in the video when he was laying down with his woman. And I said that like I was so disgusted. Woman. No. But if we had YouTube, I would have been able to just press pause on the sexy. And I would have realized, oh, well, maybe I am really most attracted to the man. But this video had me thinking about a lot. And the fact that different life experiences, not sexual or anything like that, because I do believe that I had a very good upbringing, very good childhood. Life experiences in general can lead a person one way over the other. Because, again, the Kinsey scale says most people are somewhere in the middle to varying degrees. And I think Gen Z is starting to accept that. And one of my former trainers at the gym, he was Gen Z. And he's hetero, but his twin brother is homo. And this was such an interesting thing because he explained because his brother came out to him as homo. People, love is the answer. True love, period. If we all learn to love each other, that will solve it all, period. Anyway, all of us. He was talking about how his brother came out to him at a young age. And I know there are people who've been on hashtag First Team B in the past who were like, yeah, gay is fine, but don't come out too young. Don't do that too young. And he was talking about how his twin brother came out to him when they were in like the third grade. And his response was, that's interesting because I'm always attracted to girls. I've always been attracted to girls. He's like, I've always been attracted to boys. Please forgive my voice. Well, we need to learn to accept the fact different paths lead people in different directions. And that's okay. We need to learn to not try to change who a person is. Not let people be who they are. Period. Thank you, Mommy, for letting me be who I am. My mom was more accepting of me than I was accepting of myself. Before, I was accepting of myself. But we need to all learn to be accepting and welcoming wherever somebody is. That dude was a twin. His twin brother was gay. He is hetero. People, and just because you'll never know what I'm talking about from this, but I'll say his father was one of the in the Divine Nine fraternity, and those colors were all over the house. And again, he grew up hetero. My trainer grew up hetero. His twin brother grew up homo, and his mom was also Divine Nine. But yeah, we need to learn, society, to accept the fact that we are all in different places and we all grow different places. Don't try to influence it. A book that I read, I read books, y'all. Years ago, I think it was speaking of ancient Kemet. And, it was one of those books out of ancient Egypt or Kemet. And it spoke to the fact that balance needs to be in the world. And until balance is restored in the world, there will, oh my gosh, oh my, hashtag Verse TV, stop it. Stop making me cry all the time. But until there is balance in the world, there will be trouble in the world. So until we learn to accept and love everybody, until we all learn that we are all one, there will be problems in the world. But all we have to do is learn to accept each other, learn balance. Some people grow up gay, some people grow up straight, wherever you are in the love that you have. Some people date interracially, some people date intra-racially. We need to learn to all love. Love is the key. All right, hashtag First TV family. I think this has been just about enough of y'all hearing me all nasally. I get nasally when I talk a lot in a row. And it didn't work the first time, so I had to re-record the whole thing again. But I like what I said here a little bit more, so that's a good thing. Talk to y'all later. Hashtag Verse TV family. Hashtag Verse TV A9. Peace. Hashtag versetv.com. Stay black.